Hi everyone, it's Lost Beyond Pluto coming back at you with another pedophile teacher video because we don't have enough of those in the world. This one's a doozy, in particular, more so than the others because this teacher is actually special. So special, in fact, that she was awarded Teacher of the Year last year. Let's find out more. A Texas educator who was recently recognized as Teacher of the Year allegedly performed oral sex on a student in a classroom, authorities said. Randy Chavarria, however you pronounce that, a 36-year-old family and consumer science teacher at Round Rock High School, was arrested by Williamson County Police on Tuesday. She faced second-degree felony charges of an improper relationship between an educator and a student, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. According to the complaint affidavit, Chavarria engaged in sexual contact or deviant sexual intercourse with a student at the school where she is employed. The unnamed student told police that Chavarria repeatedly gave him oral sex twice in October, the affidavit said. He recalled that she called him and had sexual contact with him on several occasions. Text messages sent between the student and Chavarria appear to be consistent with the teen's accusations, investigators said. And now this is the doozy, right? This is the part of the article that just kills me. In May, Chavarria was named Secondary Teacher of the Year in her school district. An announcement of her award praised her for having developed her own goals of what she hopes to instill in her students, which transcends curriculum and aims to create well-rounded students who make a difference. Transcends curriculum. That's very accurate. That's very spot on and very appropriate because I don't know about the schools that you guys went to or go to, but when I went to school, oral sex wasn't really on the curriculum. And I'm pretty sure my male classmates would say the same. So transcend curriculum, you have, Randy, because you go above and beyond. She also talks about how she wants her students to impact the lives of others for the better. I don't know if I've ever come across a more ironic case. Well, I have. I definitely have. But this definitely is up there on like the top 5 at least, because God knows what kind of background she came from, right? I mean, in terms of her childhood, she may have been abused herself. And I do know that a lot of abused children grow up to become abusers, unfortunately. So I guess in Randy's head, in her fucked up head, because any teacher who does this is fucked up. In her mind, clearly engaging in a sexual relationship with a minor is improving the life of that minor and improving the life of others. And that's a great example to set, Randy. Now, you would think that as Teacher of the Year, she fell from a very high pedestal, and you would think that for the crime that she committed, she would be treated in a way by the justice system that is proportionate to her crime. Did that happen? Let's find out. On November 18, Principal Matt Groff sent an email to parents notifying them that Chavarria had an improper relationship with a student. He said she had passed a state background check prior and was recommended by her previous employers. Chavarria, who was on personal leave at the time, resigned the following day. She was bailed out of Williamson County Jail a few hours after turning herself in. Now, I conducted a quick search on the internet on male teachers who were allowed to post bail, and I found none. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it's never happened. I haven't scoured the archives of every single court website on the planet. But the fact that I couldn't come up with a single hit for the first 2 pages, at least, on Google is very telling. Women are given a leniency that men can only dream of. This is particularly a problem because these cases are on the rise. The article does go on to briefly mention this. Texas Education Agency officials said reports of inappropriate relationships between students and teachers have increased in recent years. A 2017 study published by the U.S. Justice Department found that women account for a large and growing minority of the sexual abuse committed by educators against students nationwide. Psychologist Anna Salter, an expert on sexual predators, said in a 2013 study that women who sexually target students are typically married mothers in their mid-30s. Cheryl Shakeshaft, an education professor at Virginia Commonwealth University who led the research, said these women are known as opportunistic abusers. They tend to spend a lot of time around groups of students, talking with them, going in the same places they go, and trying to blend in, she said. They are the teachers who want to be seen as hip or cool and who want the students to think they are part of the student peer group. Okay, so there are a lot of things to dissect out of this article. Number one, it was mentioned earlier that she had no criminal record, Chavarria. That comes up a lot in these cases, and it really bothers me because teaching as a job is one of those jobs that have very stringent requirements when it comes to criminal records and background checks. For example, usually if you've ever had a restraining order against you, it doesn't really come up as part of your criminal record unless you've breached it. But when it comes to applying to teaching jobs, it does come up because it's just that much more strict in the education sector, and specifically in jobs where you are working with children. So the fact that they keep mentioning clean background, that's why we employed her. The school is not to blame because obviously they've done their job. They've done the background checks. They didn't know this would happen. But my issue is when judges and the justice system start seeing that as a mitigating factor when it comes to teacher-student relationships, because something that is the norm, that is the minimum standard, which is not having a criminal record, shouldn't be considered as a mitigating factor. Secondly, for those of you who don't know, I am a lawyer, and in the law, some crimes have an aggravated form, which makes them worse when you consider the surrounding circumstances. So for example, abusing a minor is an element of aggravation. It is my firm belief that when a teacher engages in an improper and sexual relationship with a student, it should be aggravated sexual assault or abuse by default, because students 99% of the time are minors and are under the age of consent. Another important factor that plays out in these cases is the fact that there is an abuse of power that is inherent in a teacher-student relationship. In such relationships, teachers always have the upper hand. A teacher is an authority figure, and a student is under the care of that teacher. If that isn't a relationship with a great power imbalance, a very drastic one, then I don't know what is. And that should also be taken into consideration as an aggravating factor. And finally, there is the breach of trust. The trust that parents and the school place in teachers. And I'm saying all this because these crimes keep happening because clearly female teachers are not being treated harshly enough. Their punishment is not proportionate to their crimes. And until we put a stop to that, these cases are just going to keep happening. I want to make one final point. A lot of people think that these students want that relationship and that they are not going to be scarred or traumatized by it. Children don't know what they want when it comes to sex. There's a reason why they shouldn't be exposed to it and shouldn't be engaging in it. They think they want it, but they don't know how it could potentially majorly fuck up their head. There's a reason laws exist. There's a reason children need to be protected. There's a reason that there's an age of consent. Everything has a reason. For those of you out there who think children know what they're doing and that they can consent to these things, I'm sorry, that's just not factual. All right, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Do you think that the men are treated way too harshly? Or do you think that it's high time that women are treated the same way? Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in a future video. Bye.